right, welcome, everyone. Grand and glorious day to you today on this amazing day where life is occurring. I'm Lisa Giroux, your Reiki master teacher and ascension processor guide as we continue navigating this journey within. And it's Tuesday, and Tuesday, what a wonderful day it is today. Two for Tuesday. Let's call it Two for Tuesday. So let's talk about the nature of duality as we are delving deeply within our own healing process each and every day. And, in nature, in the universe, there appears to be this duality. In Simplicity of Spirituality, we delve really deeply into this duality that we perceive in this very physical realm. We are physical, yet we're spiritual. There is light, but there is dark. There is happiness, and there is not happiness. The ascension process calls for us to remove the labels and move into a neutral position. I know that it's tough. It's tough. It's tough to imagine this from our very human realm. So today on Two for Tuesday, let's just talk about the physical, all that we see and perceive in reality, and the non-physical, which is all that is unseen that we perceive, that drives us. Really, it drives us. This non-physical reality, this portion of the duality is our emotions. Have you ever seen an emotion? Yet they drive us, don't they? And the resonance that comes in for us, especially those of us who are intuitive, more introverted, more introspective, more witnessing, thinking bodies, as opposed to the very extroverted, doing bodies, we can get very, very trapped in one perception of emotion. Grief, victimhood, sadness, joy, bliss. Sometimes we perceive those who are having an experience that we judge as, let's say, crazy. What's the perception of crazy, right? Who's to say that that person in their inner realm is not having one heck of a good time, right? And when we look out on our physical realm, we see many, many slaves to the enslavement. Of course, in the mind first. It always starts in the mind, and then it reverberates outward, outward, outward. So we become, driven to live or experience a way that is really not our own. Let's take a breath here. And let's just go deeply within. And let's just hold that for an instant. The inner and the outer. Two for Tuesday. The inner experience, for those of us who have been in meditation and in spiritual teachings for a long time, we recognize that this expanse within is greater than this expanse without. How can that be? How can that be? That every bit of us is as expansive as this universe, as this cosmos. that there really is mostly just space within us, yet we're driven, we're enslaved in our mind, right? Because we think that it's supposed to be a certain way. We believe, which is just a thought that we just hang on to, usually for generations, until somebody says, forget about it. I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to do it my way. I've shared with you a bit of my story. I had a beautiful upbringing. I was very blessed, had very loving, caring parents, two parents that loved my sisters and I very much and created a mostly very stable environment. There was not a lot of upheaval in our family, but there was an undercurrent of alcoholism in my family, right? And I certainly carried that forward into my reality as an adult. And when I went to get sober, when I chose, my journey to sobriety was a long journey. So if you're seeking sobriety for yourself, realize it is a journey and it's a choice. But what I realized was that I certainly have a physical predilection towards addiction. Okay. So stepping beyond that, I learned how to be boozy. That it was everywhere in my whole upbringing. Now, my mother did not drink much, and my father, my life growing up was a party. It was a party. And it was a very functional party, right? There was no abuse, there was no neglect. But still, there was that unspokenness of pain in our family. My parents had lost a daughter right before I was born, and on, and it was never spoken, blah, blah, blah. Those are the things that family stuff and do not talk about. But as the youngest child who always feels everything, all the unseen or all the unspoken and unseen experiences, I knew at a very young age that there was something going on that caused discomfort and that this discomfort needed to be medicated, okay, specifically with alcohol. And it was boozy. It was fun. My parents threw wonderful cocktail parties. That was in the era of that. I remember everybody gathering around the piano and singing and it appeared to be really fun. But I also know that there was this underlying, unseen, unspoken frequency or vibration that was causing upheaval underlying upheaval, especially for my mother. It's a challenge when you're in a relationship. I think they say alcoholics don't have relationships, they take hostages. And although my father at that time was a very high functioning alcoholic, God bless him, wherever he may be now, out there in the ethers, worked every day, and then, it's 3-4 martinis after dinner, right? Or after work, right? And then beer after dinner, whatever. So that whole frequency of, isn't everything wonderful? In so many people's reality, we put on this veneer. I spruced up a tad for you today. Everything looks so good, but underneath, people are crumbling, especially those that are always walking around like with this smile plastered on their face. It's wonderful, it's wonderful, it's wonderful. When we begin to do our healing work and we allow ourselves to really speak our truth, we find out that underneath that veneer of everything is perfect, it's not perfect. We're all having that to some degree or another. Hang on, I gotta get my stool here. So that I need my little, maybe this will give me a little boost. Then maybe I need a booster chair still. So, 2 for Tuesday, duality, the dual nature of this existence. So we're so focused on this, the achievements, the success, the diplomas on the wall. I don't have any of mine up here. They're all in a drawer somewhere. The achievement that is supposed to, they say, who are they? What do they know? That this is supposed to fill us up. The amount of zeros in our, hundreds of thousands of dollars that we earn, people like start with that. I made 100, especially in, like, you see on the online marketing world, I made $150,000 in 10 minutes. Well, good for you. God bless. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with money. Money is fun. Money is a frequency of enjoyment. I want you to release yourself from that enslavement about money. And that's another duality that we get into. Does money bring happiness? No. Happy people earn and they get even happier. Miserable people earn and they get even more miserable, right? We think that money will solve all the problems, but it doesn't. And I speak from direct experience because as abundance increased in our life, as we began to generate unlimited abundance, remember, expenses always rise to meet income. And that is a universal law. That's another dual law, that we have to force ourselves to break that so that, expenses don't always rise to meet income, right? So that we can teach ourselves the blessedness, the true abundance principles is that if I have this breath, that is my greatest gift, the abundance of breath, the abundance of healthy cells in my body, the abundance of bliss that I can feel looking at those two beautiful geese flying up the river, the abundance of pine cones, the abundance of leaves on the trees, stars in the sky, frequencies of love and light coming within me that then reverberate outward and cause healing for the planet. We're much more than just our bottom line. Dual nature, 2 for Tuesdays, 2. All right, let's wrap this up. So in our experience of what we see versus what we feel, is there incongruency there? All right. Generally, no. Generally, what we feel is what we're experiencing, right? Right. And if we want to go even deeper within, we have to adjust here first. And we use that with 2 things. Can you guess? Meditation, appreciation. Meditation, appreciation. Take a breath now. Move into that frequency of appreciation for all that you have created at this moment in time, for all the blessings that you have been given at this moment in time. Focus on that breath, the incoming. Hold that just for an instant as you engage your powerful pelvic point. And release out to the universe blessings, appreciation, peace of mind, well-being for all. Take that time each day, 3 times a day for just 90 seconds. And breathe and expect and experience wonderment within so that you can expect and experience wonderment without. For you, for yours, for them's, for all. Now. And so that is 2 for Tuesday. Meditate, appreciate, move forward. Recognizing you're more, much, 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 much more than just what you see. All right, everyone, grand and glorious day to you today on this amazing day where life is occurring. It's Tuesday, 2 for Tuesday. Yes. How did you feel yesterday after we had our Monday top 5 list? Now remember, every day we want to create a top 5, right? Top 5, check off, do well, what we can, each one in order of priority. And if we didn't get to do each of those top 5 things done well, then we begin again. Top 5 for today, right? But today, on Tuesday, 2 for Tuesday, we're talking about the nature of duality. And it is the balancing of opposites or perceived opposites in our lifetime. I'm reading from my Simplicity of Spirituality private coaching program, because as we navigate within, and I am your Reiki master teacher and inner work ascension guide, and it says we want to learn to manage duality for our benefit, and one of the greatest ways that we do that is to realize the outer, inner, above, below, center, and within aspects, light and dark, of duality. And then move beyond that. And then move beyond that. It's the line between where we want to begin to resonate most of the time. Because all is illusion.